Asylum sites to be expanded as ministers bid to end hotel use by Jack Fenwick at the BBC. Whoa, Jack Fenwick. That sounds suspiciously like an English name. I think that's the first BBC story I've read in months that didn't sound like it was being presented to me by the Grand Ayatollah or one of his minions. It's normally Mullah Dudullah, BBC correspondent. Anyway, I'm sure Jack Fenwick will be totally impartial because he works for the BBC and, they all are. Well, unless they walk into a child's dressing room and catch a children's TV presenter pulling himself off whilst watching them undress, then they're a bit quiet about that. But anyway, let's read this thrilling tale, shall we? Because it sounds to me, as usual, like instead of getting to the root cause of the issue, the boats, the illegals, the trafficking, instead of doing that, they're rearranging the chairs. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to stop the asylum seekers coming in. They're not going to stop the illegal immigrants. They're not going to actually fix the problem. What they're going to do is they're going to shuffle them around a little bit. Yeah, brilliant. As I said, rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. 40-foot hole in the side of the boat, and the British government would go, maybe we should empty the lobster tanks out of the restaurant. That'll help. Okay, asylum sites to be expanded. Brilliant. Ministers want to end hotel use. So we'll put them all in your back garden. Much better. Large asylum seeker sites like Weatherfield Air Base in Essex are set to be expanded under plans to end the use of asylum hotels, the BBC can reveal. Marvellous. Yeah, if there's one message I've took from the last 10 years of people whinging about immigrants, it's people were thinking, you know what? I wish their accommodation was bigger. Chancellor Rachel Reeves, who I wouldn't trust to run a lemonade stand in my front garden, let alone a country's national reserves. I wouldn't trust Rachel Reeves to walk the family dog. I wouldn't let her run me a bath. If you asked her to watch the kids for 30 seconds, one of them would end up in a wood chipper. That is how thick Rachel Reeves is. Anyway, sorry, I'm ranting. Einstein pledged to stop using taxpayer-funded hotels, and this would save $1 billion. $1 billion? Yeah, we keep letting them in. They're now costing us $20 billion a year, but reshuffling the deck chairs will save us $1 billion. Nice one. So we're only in the hole $19 billion a year, Rachel. You absolute spunk trumpet. One of the ways Home Office hopes to achieve this is by moving asylum seekers from hotels into cheaper alternative forms of accommodation. Yes, many of them bordering on primary schools, creches and play areas. So Iqbal Sadiq can lube up and fling himself round his bedroom whilst watching the little girls play hopscotch. Nice one. Sir Keir Starmer... Ha! Gay! Never gets old. He pledged to close the Weatherfield Asylum facility during last year's election campaign. But the BBC understands that site and another one are among those under consideration for extension. Marvellous. I absolutely love it. Yeah, great, isn't it? So when Keir Starmer pledges to remove a site, what he means is we're going to make it double in size. Remove, make much bigger. Yeah, they're basically synonymous, aren't they, those words? Yeah, more or less. More or less mean the exact same thing, don't they? Yeah, if Keir Starmer walked in on me piping his wife, he probably wouldn't mind, would he? Because I don't think he's given her any. But if he walked in and said, Bootneck, remove yourself from my wife, and I went, okay, mate, blew a whistle, and me dad, me granddad, and me brother and me nephew kicked the door in and proceeded to make her airtight, I don't think he'd be happy with his definition of removal then, do you? A Home Office spokesperson said, oh, even that, have you noticed how they never say spokesman now? They never say spokesman. Now they have to say spokesperson. Spokes indigenous trans people kind. Said the government was making strong strides to deliver a more sustainable and cost-effective asylum accommodation system. Yeah, of course you are. Yeah, promise to get rid of it, double it in size. That's not strong strides. That's not even a weak stride. Stephen Hawking could take a stronger stride than Keir Starmer could. And this is before he died. This includes ending the use of hotels, testing new locally led models, and working closely with blah, 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 blah. Models. Oh yes, test the models. Newspeak. Gibberish. Bollocks. Yeah, bollocks. Our use of any property or home office on site will be used in line with the permissions set by planning permissions, bollocks, gibberish. The taxpayer cost of asylum hotels has rocketed in recent years, with the total accommodation contracts now set to be worth $15.3 billion over a 10-year period. Yeah, and they've definitely duped them statistics. It's 10 times that amount we spend on these thieving, scruffy twats. But while extending large sites might be cheaper, the move is likely to anger local residents and refugee rights groups. No shit, Sherlock. In April last year, Yvette Cooper said the Weatherfield site couldn't be seen as a sustainable solution for housing asylum seekers, nor value for money for the taxpayer, so they've doubled it in size. Absolutely loving it. Conservative wet blanket James Cleverly, who ironically has also got the IQ of a pull-along duck, despite the word clever being in his name, said the cap was there to protect the safety and security of constituents. Yeah, safety and security. Imagine that, there's a cap, so it helps keep you safe. There's a cap, so it helps keep you safe. What's the cap? Oh, I don't know, like 8,000. Oh, okay, I feel safe, yeah. The cap makes you feel safe, don't you know? Drop the kids off at the local school. How many surprise sex enthusiasts, diddlers, deviants, druggies and murderers and granny stabbers surround the local children's play area again, James? Oh, only like 8,000. I mean, we've capped it. Oh, well, as long as you've capped it. Safe as houses, yeah. Imagine, think of the logic there. How many convicts live within 200 yards of me granny's house? Oh, well, we capped it at 500. Did you? Yeah, but I mean, we could have capped it at 50,000. So 500's all right, innit? Yeah, go on then. As long as there's only going to be 500 blokes conker deep in my granny's dirt box, I mean, I'm happy with that. It could be way higher. The former RAF base has been housing asylum seekers since 2023. It has a current capacity of 800, but it's thought to house closer to 500. So I guess we'll be up to what, 2, 3, 4,000? Nice one. Bet the people of Weatherfield are going to be buzzing. The $1 billion saving, which the Chancellor said would come from reducing hotel use, has already been taken out of the budget. So they've spent it before they've got it. And the Home Office has a new target for how much asylum accommodation needs to be created. The BBC understands that moving around 14,000 of them would save us $1 billion. And the senior Home Office was said they were confident they could save the required money. And there we go. So they end on a win. Amazing. So, as usual, they pull numbers out of their arse. This is what they do. They create a shambles, create untold human misery. Thousands of victims of crime, sexual assault, burglary, mugging, stabbing, murder, everything. They create that chaos, create untold human misery, and then they miracle up a target and go, we've got a target. We're going to save £1 billion. And then before they've hit it, because they probably won't hit it, if they don't hit it, they'll just never talk about it again. But if they do hit it, they go, ta-da, and they have a massive amount of fanfare and they go, wow, amazing, look at this. We've hit the target. And normal people go, what, you mean the drop in the ocean? The drop in the ocean. These people are costing us tens of billions every year and causing untold human misery. But because you just invented a target, now you're going to talk about the target all day long. Yeah, we hit the target. Get in, we hit the target. Meanwhile, Granny's getting rogered like a copper's radio by Iqbal, the Somalian pirate. And they're going, yeah, but we hit the target. Nobody cares about your target. You just pull them out of your ass anyway. Fix the problem. Stop the boats. Put a ring of steel around the UK. Get the Royal Marines out. Use the Navy. Use drones. Get it so not a single body crosses the channel without our say-so. But instead, you're not going to do that, are you? You're going to double the size of the accommodations. You're going to triple the amount of people that move in, break in illegally. But then you're going to sell it as a win. You're going to lie, cheat and steal. You're going to go back on everything you said. You're going to do U-turns. You're going to double the size of the camps you said you were going to get rid of. But then you're going to go, oh, but we hit the target. Yeah, the target you set, you absolute throbber. The British government is an embarrassment, an international embarrassment. They hate you, they hate your family, they hate your children, they hate your community, and they hate your way of life, and they laugh and assist the offenders that finger your kids because they are happy to sacrifice the most innocent people in society on the altar of political correctness. Our leaders are the scum of the earth. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you're impressed by the target they've just pulled out their arse? If you have, please leave me a comment down below. I love reading the ramblings of a maniac. All right, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and sharing and all of that bollocks. And I'll see you all very soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.